Hi everyone, I'm here with Elizabeth and Miguel. Would you guys please introduce yourselves?
Yes, definitely. My name's Elizabeth Moscoso from Moscoso Express. Yeah, Moscoso Express, we're a 20-year-old asset-based carrier who serves the Chicagoland and the Midwestern region. And we end up having a few varieties of fleet types. So we have straight trucks with lift gates, dry vans, 53-foot dry vans, and we're able to support with first and final mile, ocean, air freight, things of that nature. Thank you.
Awesome.
My name is Miguel Moscoso. I am Vice President of Moscoso Express. In my role, I help to ensure that our client relationships are where they need to be and looking for other clients that fit in the niche kinds of work that we do.
Awesome. Well, you guys just came out of speaking on a panel, and the topic is actually one that I love to hear was addressed here, and it was titled "Why the Small Carrier Matters." And so obviously we know that we have so many mega carriers in this space that we talk about make up the majority of the on-highway trucks and things of this nature, but we have hundreds and thousands of smaller fleets that really are a big part of the backbone in our transportation industry. And so I'm very interested to hear, as I was not able to be in that session, what was discussed, and if you could share that with the people who weren't able to make it. What are kind of your high-level takeaways or the things that you think were most important today that were discussed?
The importance of the small carrier is definitely what was highlighted there. We ended up going over just why having a small carrier as part of the pool of carriers that you end up working with, how it can be beneficial and why it's beneficial. So being as a small carrier ourselves, we end up being able to provide more niche solutions and flexibility to the client. So whether that may be waiting at a warehouse because a pallet is about to be finished wrapping up, or that can be just being able to provide more photos or videos or pictures of the seal in an easier fashion. There's less red tape with a smaller carrier, so these unknowns that sometimes come up as you're moving freight are going to be able to easily be addressed.
Wow. And Miguel, anything to add on that?
The conversation really highlighted how the small carrier is the backbone of the ecosystem of the supply chain. Most carriers are the 1 to 4 truck carriers, and they do provide that added flex that is needed when there is more demand for truckers.
As a small carrier, I believe DAT was on your panel as well, and so do you guys interact with brokers, and to what extent, what are you looking for when you are vetting a brokerage as a potential partner for you, and how do you handle navigating those relationships?
So throughout our 20-year history, we have not primarily had brokers as our core business. However, we do understand their importance in the ecosystem of the supply chain market. So what we end up doing is we end up focusing on taking advantage of opportunities like these, coming in person, getting to know the shippers and the freight forwarders that might be in the niche that we focus on, so that way we can get that opportunity to discuss if it's a good fit. Does the type of fleet that we have, the straight trucks with lift gates, the tractor trailers, is that something that they can benefit from? And what type of needs do they have? What type of specialized orders do they run? Do they work at convention centers? Are they looking for white glove value-added deliveries? So being able to first understand if it's a good fit is the most important thing, and being able to speak with individuals from there.
Yeah, when looking for clients, it's all about finding clients that fit into the niche that we serve. So it is finding clients. We're very fortunate to be in the Elk Grove area. Being based here in Chicagoland in the Elk Grove area, we have one of the largest industrial parks. Yeah. So we make sure to go out there and knock on doors to find some manufacturers, some shippers that we are able to support that are local from our area.
I know plenty of small carriers, even in like the 10 to 50 truck range, who feel like they're too small to be talking to shippers directly, and they feel very reliant on broker relationships. And I fully believe in a lot of the value that a strong broker-carrier relationship can bring, but I also understand that it should be desirable for a lot of carriers to want to connect directly with their clients, their shipper clients. So what would be your advice to carriers as they are looking to navigate trying to go up to a door or walk into these buildings, and how can they present themselves, and what are they asking for? What are they looking to do when they're walking into those situations?
Yeah, I think that the small carrier shouldn't undermine himself in that regard. I think that he has a lot to bring to the table. Once he is given a seat at the table, he has to lay out all the expectations that are to be met from his regard as well as from the shipper's regard. So as long as everything is put out on the table in terms of the expectations that should be met on both sides, I think that there is no reason why the shipper shouldn't be able to, in the right capacity, use the small carrier for some of their more detailed loads, so opportunities when they need to flex up and have a different option other than some of the larger LTL carriers.
I have one last question for you both. How important do you feel that it is for a carrier to have a niche focus, like to be really good at one thing or a couple of things, as opposed to saying, I have 30 trucks, we do, any type of freight, anywhere. What are some of the call-outs that you would make?
I would definitely say that it is of vital importance. The only way that you're going to be able to know who your client is and who to reach out to is by knowing yourself as a company. So first and foremost, understand your finances, because of course part of that discussion is going to be how much can you run it for? What is the price for the lane? So understand what impacts your bottom line, and then understand where you do best. So with the type of units and the type of equipment that Moscoso Express has, we are good at first and final mile. Sometimes the shipper might not need a full 53-foot trailer to be moving equipment. Maybe they have just a few crates. That's where the straight truck with a lift gate to be able to pick it up from a hospital might be a value add. The fact that we have equipment that is owned by us, as well as our drivers are employed by us, that helps make that security be a focus as well. So
Sure.
Everyone's more invested in it. So really getting in tune with who you are as a company and being able to address those things will make it easier for your clients to know what type of areas you're going to be best at.
I love that. I have two final questions. If anyone listening to this is interested in learning more about what you guys do and getting in contact with you, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
So via our phone number, 773-234-5443, and then our email, it's info, I-N-F-O, at Moscoso Express. It's MOSCOSO, the word express.com. And of course our website, Moscoso, MOSCOSO express.com.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And then my last question to you guys is this your first time attending the JOC Inland Distribution Conference?
It is not. We have been at the JOC for 3 years now. Our first time coming as speakers for Elizabeth, and we've had the pleasure of attending for 3 years now here in Chicago.
What is the reason that you came back on year 2 and came back on year 3?
Coming to the JOC, we're able to get that in-person connection with some of potential clients, and we're able to get our name out there. The fact that the conference is held here in Chicago and we service the Chicagoland and the Midwest, we're able to touch base with a lot of people that we might not be able to see if the conference was in any other part of the country.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for making this podcast a part of your time here at the conference.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks.
Yeah.